Welcome everyone. I am about to watch Money Heist episode 2 just to do a immediate reaction video. Money Heist episode 1 was really dynamic starting off, so I'm kind of excited for the second episode, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not always a big fan of thriller, violent kind of K-dramas, but here we go. So this is an interesting K-drama. I did not know it was a kind of like not a leftover, but a kind of a remake of the first one, or the US based one. So that's kind of interesting for me. I find it to be very interesting that we've got. Oh, they're escaping North Korea. So it seems like a lot of North Koreans are in this K-drama, or actors portraying people who are from North Korea. Wow, that's a lot of bullets. Oh, his mother got hit. Oh, dang. Oh, man. That's really sad. I've been to the China side, right outside of the Tumen River for North Korea. I've been in North Korea, and it is pretty, I wouldn't say desolate. It's a very lush, resourced country, but it is just painfully impoverished. And brutality is pretty significant there, because like people report on their neighbors, on their possible friends. And I did, ooh, dang. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. That's crazy. Oh my God. I'm doing something. Wow. So now he's in prison. And 25 years later, so he must be some kind of assassin at this point. Watching the second episode, and it's not really saying who is where. It's just showing some terrible things going on in well, Russians call it gulags. I think in Korea, they're almost like concentration camps, or like prisons where defectors go, or political prisoners go, just to be brutalized. Oh, it's that guy. Oh, wow, he overturned the prison. Yeah, and they really don't like the US, because like the US is pretty much the scapegoat for the split of the two Koreas. Wow, it's an uprising in a North Korean camp, imprisonment camp. So now they're showing the JSA. So I've also been to the JSA. We went not just the 38th parallel, but we went all the way inside to the JSA, the Joint Security Area, where North and South Koreans meet. Not exactly sure what they do there. It's more of a kind of a showing. I guess they do some discussions, but I really don't know what goes on there. And then at one point, we went up to the tower to look over to the North Korean side, and they said, don't point, don't laugh. Because really, you could be just under a powerful rifle, long scope, sniper, telescope lens. Because you can't see what's going on inside their building. Huh. So yeah, Money Heist. I wonder what the U.S. version of Money Heist happened. So I don't know what kind of money they're actually stealing because I've not seen that denomination of money. So that guy who is the lead in this bank joint security area, he's also in the K-drama Eve, which is on Viki, different platform, but he was also in Parasite and Crash Landing on You. So even though he takes very, I think, much more minor or secondary roles, he's in quite a number of K-dramas, but not ever as the lead, because I don't think he has the leading man kind of charisma or looks. Oh, thank you. Much appreciated. So I'm watching Money Heist, episode two. It's so far, episode one was very violent, and I don't think it really made sense in the grand scheme of trying to pull off a very large robbery. They were trying to go out the front door. I almost feel like they were just doing that as show, because they had all these backup clothing to dress all the captives in the same outfit that the aggressors were wearing. So that doesn't make sense. And now this lady, she was in the US drama Lost, and that was pretty popular for many, many seasons. I think I only watched a few episodes of episode one or season one in Lost, but she was playing a Korean along with Daniel Day Kim. They were a married Korean couple who were trapped in the airplane. So that was pretty good, I guess. And it went many, many episodes. So she's actually finally back in doing Korean dramas. She first got noticed in the movie, I think, Shiri, and she was a North Korean assassin, or she was some type of assassin, and her husband was the one who actually hunted her down. So that's kind of fun. And it was like a major hit in the South Korean movie theaters. She looks the same. I mean, you could tell like she's older now, but she looks mostly the same. Because I think like as you get older, your skin kind of gets a little less vibrant. But South Koreans have just amazing skin technology, beauty care. Um, yeah. This older lady, she plays a lot of evil characters in Korean dramas. That's what I've noticed. Wow, she looks amazing. I think she's somewhere in her 50s. So this lady who was in the US drama Lost, she is a no negotiator. So somehow she's negotiating with the individuals that are holding people captive in this joint security banking or money printing place. I don't know. I don't really know this drama. I didn't really look it up because it's not usually my thing to watch, but I thought it'd be fun to watch this drama. So if you have any questions about Korean dramas, please let me know. I know quite a number of Korean dramas, so I'm happy to answer any questions. Or maybe you could ask me a question that I don't know the answers to. A lot of names kind of escape me just because Korean names sound very similar. They're made up of very similar properties across all genders. The combination's just always a little bit different, so that's why you can kind of tell when it's a female Korean name as opposed to a male Korean name. Or that's what I think. So that guy is a North Korean, so there's like this meeting of North Koreans and South Koreans because it's in the JSA or Joint Security or the Joint Economic Location. So I guess there's a lot more activity going on with North and South Korea that we're not aware of. And I don't think we do need to know about all the different activities because that's kind of political. But hopefully there'll be a better relationship between the two Koreas. It's sad that it broke up. Like Germany got back together. But I heard that West Germany just had a very hard and difficult economic time financially when like the Berlins came together and what have you. Or was it Berlin? I don't remember. But anyways, I was talking to somebody originally from Germany, and they said like unification of Korea is going to be a huge economic impact, a negative impact to the South Koreans. So I don't know. And as generations go by, I mean, it's the great grandparents at this point that have maybe kind of family back in North Korea. But I was talking to some North Korean descendants, like they're my friends. So it's been where their family or their grandparents were North Koreans, but they came down south to South Korea when the war happened, and before it closed off, they just stayed in South Korea. But then they have some possible family members that are still in North Korea. But at this point, they're kind of like, or the ones that I talk to, they're just like, oh, well, yeah, they're just kind of done. And I have been involved with some other activity, but I don't really discuss that. I know that Link, Liberty in North Korea, is pretty active in bringing across North Koreans to South Korea or abroad, just generally out of North Korea. There's a lot of trafficking that goes on with especially females from North Korea once they escape into China, only because the male population is huge in China because of the one-child policy for many, many years. So there is a very big gap between female population or female people that can be reproductive as a female, because there's now all these different classifications of gender identity, but females who can reproduce, there's very small amounts of them in China because of the one-child policy. I remember watching a news article where there was just a baby dumped on the street, and people were just walking past this passed away baby. And finally, this older gentleman, older man, he kind of scooped up the child with like cardboard and then deposited the no longer alive child into a waste bin. But yeah, like that would be horrifying in any other area. Well, not in any other area, but I'm guessing in many parts of the world. But it was just like people are just walking by, which is just a sad state. But yeah, I don't know. Hello, Chicago. Nice to see you. But yeah, so in China, there is a high incident of trafficking, especially of North Korean women. I actually watched a movie about that. It was really good. Jangnar, I think Jangnar. Won Bin's wife was playing the lead female, and her son was trying to find her. It was like so sad because this was the life that she had. But there was at least a good ending at the end, but like the whole movie was sad. Hello. Well, now I don't know who is part of the bad side and who was originally, I'm guessing she's part of the bad team. I don't know. But yeah. Where did they get a jackhammer? Like this K drama doesn't totally make sense in terms of like storyline. Like where did all of a sudden they get this jackhammer? And where are they digging to? So what's interesting about the Money Heist is that the episodes are actually quite a bit longer than regular Korean dramas. Just that's I was wondering like the first episode that I was watching, after about 45 minutes, I was kind of done with the first episode because I didn't really understand it. But now, at least I know that episode 2, it's going to be a very long episode. So that guy is Jirai Shin on Instagram. He has really long hair, and he used to not be this jacked. Originally, he kind of had like a just a smaller, more wafy built, but I don't know what he's been doing. Okay, he's been working out, but he's been working out a lot because like his body mass has increased in size significantly. And I don't know if it's because of this role, but he did a great job if he was supposed to be a bigger, kind of more athletic stature. Because like this guy, he got big for this drama. And that guy from Parasite and Crash Landing, the very junior character or minor character, he's in so many K dramas. Like he pops up in so many K dramas, like just as a minor character. And it seems like for Netflix, they like to use actors and make cameo appearances in like an upcoming drama. So the lead guy, not the lead guy, but one of the lead guys, the guy smoking and dressed up in red, he was in Squid Games. And you kind of rooted for him in Squid Games because, like, you know, he seemed like a good guy, but then you find out that he did white collar crime. But he did try to help his friend Lee Jung Jae. And Lee Jung Jae is coming out with season 2 of Squid Games. So I kind of wonder how that's going to play out for Squid Games 2, just because Squid Games 1 was so dramatic. And what new games are they going to be playing? Like it's so you kind of already know because we watched season 1 what the twist is. So how are they going to make it new and different and more dramatic, more like exciting, I guess, for season 2? That's kind of what I would like to know. So I am watching Money Heist episode 2. They're currently stuck inside the reserve, the financial reserve, or wherever they are, this joint economic area between North and South Korea. And what I had said, which was interesting in episode 1, is that there's certain things that they took from Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs. Like, so in Reservoir Dogs, I believe they had different names, like Mr. White, Mr. Pink, Brown, Green, purple. And in this K-drama for Money Heist, all the people have picked city names like Berlin, I think Tokyo. And the reason why the girl picked Tokyo, they're like, why did you pick Tokyo? Because Japan and Korea have a lot of historical tension and ill feelings. And she's like, well, we're going to do something bad. So obviously you have to pick the name Tokyo, which was kind of a slam to Japan, like a very backhanded remark, or just a straightforward remark, like kind of saying Japan did some terrible things. So this is a father-son team, and I've seen the older gentleman in a lot of Korean dramas. He could play a good guy, but a lot of times he plays the bad guy, which makes sense because, like, if you have to generalize and stereotype him, he kind of looks like a bad guy. He plays the bad character very well because he just looks the part. So it's unbelievable. It's already July 2022. Like, these months have been going so fast ever since 2019. I feel like the time has gone significantly faster. Like, I don't even know where June went. I feel like June, kind of a blink of the eye, and it was like done. Does that look like it hurt? Getting your hand slammed in the door, that's like a nightmare. Oh, I'm sure this whole thing is a nightmare. But yeah. Oh, but I do wonder why they picked so many North Korean backstories for this drama. Her hair looks especially good for a North Korean, like, degenerate or thief. Like, that looks like a very expensive South Korean haircut. Very stylish. Hello, I'm watching Money Heist episode 2 right now. The lead bank reserve guy is trying to escape, but he just walked into this lady's automatic rifle. Ooh, he looks kind of attractive there as a bad guy. He has kind of like a very um, good presence, even though he is playing a very evil, dark character. So, yeah. So that guy has a very South Korean accent, like from Busan or Daegu, very country. And the funny thing is like, it's just my opinion because I have relatives from the south of South Korea, and they do have that Saturi accent, like that country accent, and it just doesn't sound as sophisticated as the South Seoul accent. It almost sounds a little bit like gangster, a little bit like uneducated, which is not true because your location doesn't really designate if you're smart or not. It just sounds a little bit less polished. Oh, well, yep. That, I guess maybe you watch Korean dramas, or you're thinking about Korean dramas. Not sure, but I do a lot of Korean drama recommendations, reviews, reactions. So a lot of my feed is pretty much Korean dramas or Korean actors in general, or Korean um, media information. I think Money Heist, South Korean's Money Heist, is doing pretty well in Netflix. Yeah, Korean action movies are great. The last one that I remember watching that really stands out is Ajishi, or The Man from Nowhere with Won Bin. It was very reminiscent of The Professional with Natalie Portman. So Ajishi, he is, a former like special ops military or police guy who lost his wife. Then he kind of goes a little bit bananas and goes really just dark, and then kind of falls off the face of the earth. And then he had to go and save a child. I don't know if that's on Netflix, but it's The Man from Nowhere, or Ajishi. I think Man from Nowhere should pop up. But the lead actor, his name is Won Bin, Wonbin. So it's a two-syllable name, which is different because normally it's a three-syllable name for Koreans. But Won Bin, he's like an A-list actor, and he is very talented. He hasn't really been doing a lot of movies or dramas, just because he makes so much money doing commercials. And so, I guess that's his life, doing commercials, getting paid. Still an A-list actor, and I think there's nothing pulling him to do a movie or a drama. Like, it's a lot of work, and when you're an A-list and you're like offered something that's not going to keep you A-list, but like, he's at the top of his game, so I don't think he wants to like disturb it by doing something that might kind of knock him down a couple of pegs. So I could see why he just wants to continue to ride out the A-list game. Yeah, I think Wonbin did an excellent job being like this mercenary kind of assassin, revenge hero guy in The Man from Nowhere. Yeah, hello. Oh, hey, Taylor. Long time. I'm watching episode 2 of The Money Heist because I don't know. I just can't watch it on my own. It's just too violent and kind of scary, and it's not my genre. Thank you. This girl in this drama, she's quite the badass. Wow. Nap. Nap is healthy. Oh, thank you. It's more on the purple side. The only parts that didn't turn all the way purple is kind of like this leftover right here. I had dyed it a very dark color, and the hairstylist wasn't able to lift off the box color that I put on there. And so we're just kind of waiting for it to just, I don't know, either grow out on its own or perhaps eventually it'll lift off and he'll be able to put the rest of the color in. But yeah, it's like for the most part, you can't see that it's a dark purple. It's so subtle that it's like, oh, she just has dark hair. But in the sunlight, it's pretty noticeable. Yeah, I'm on episode 2. Spicier dramas, I mean, Korea, it's a very, like, I would say tame kind of drama. The one where I saw recently where it's a little bit spicier is Eve with Soyejin, Soyeji, Soyejin. She was in It's Okay Not to Be Okay. And that was actually like they were kind of doing some rated PG-13 stuff, but it's never gonna be like where it's like more than PG-13. Um, Korean movies could get a little bit spicier, but for some reason I'm not into Korean movies as much as I like dramas. I don't know if I can, but yeah, I've seen some Korean movies that were a lot spicier. But yeah, I'm sure if you like look it up. I know that some of the Korean movies, they're very like violent, which I find it's unnecessary. Like Old Boy, um, there was another one with actually, I think this lady, it was Lady Vengeance. That was dark and super violent. I think it was with her. Money Heist. It was so long ago. Yeah, Lady Vengeance. Like that was super dark, really, really, really messed up. But that director, he's a little bit. He just has a dark twist. I personally like Hong Kong movies or movies from Beijing. I think like cinematography is great. Wong Kar-wai is one of my favorite all-time directors, and he's done some amazing movies like In the Mood for Love, Chungking Express, and yeah, there's just a lot of different movies. And I, for whatever reasons, I like Chinese, Hong Kong, Beijing movies. I also like Japanese movies, but mostly exclusively Korean dramas. I've watched a couple of Taiwanese television dramas, and it's with Dennis Wu, just because I like Dennis Wu. I think he just has a lot of style, charisma. I like the fact that he has a very deep faith and his walk with God. So I just really admire Van Ness. So I've tried watching his dramas. Concerto, Autumn Concerto actually did so well. That was huge. And then I think there was like a few others, like Princess Weiwei or something like that. But I don't understand Mandarin, so it goes over my head. But I do like Tony Leung, Takeshi Kaneshiro, Andy Lau. Those are all Chinese movie actors. I just am not as into Korean movies, but they are getting better. They're getting much better. B Oh, Bae Duna. Yeah, Bae Duna has crossed over. She's done some really good stuff. Like I think Snowpiercer. She's done like the space one. Like she's she's in like a lot of US based movies, which is great for her because I think that what you watch in Korean dramas, like these Korean dramas, they're always telling people, "Oh, well, I'll take you to Hollywood. We'll take you to Cannes. We'll do like Sundance." Like that was kind of like the big thing to make it in Hollywood. I think another actor who's crossed over is Lee Byung-hun. He was in Mr. Sunshine. He was in the movie G.I. Joe. He was just in Ocean Blues. He's done pretty well. Lee Jung-jae, he blew up in Squid Games. I don't think he's done any Korean movies. B, or Rain, he's a K-pop artist. He actually is a very good actor. He's very entertaining. He's done comedy, he's done drama. He's married to one of the most beautiful Korean actresses. He did a couple of movies for in the US where he starred in it. One was like just this terrible ninja karate martial arts movie. It was awful. It was kind of like a comic anime. I don't know. It just did not do well. So he tried a couple times, didn't quite make it. But Bae I think she did very, very well. She was able to cross over, and she has a very unique look. So I think like also fashion designers have really taken to her as well. And the girl from Squid Games, like she's been doing some huge campaigns for I think Louis Vuitton, Levi's. She's been in Vogue a bunch. So I think because she's so tall, thin, and has like a very good look, that she has done very well in terms of the fashion world. And the other guy who crossed over, he's Korean and Caucasian, so he's Amerasian, I suppose, or Hapa. Daniel, I forgot his name. But anyways, he was in My Name is Kim Samsoon, playing a resident doctor, and then he crossed over to like Criminal Minds, and he was in a, I think he was in an X-Men movie. Yeah, I think he was in an X-Men movie. He's gone back and forth to Korea because I'm sure he makes a ton of money with doing Korean dramas and Korean movies. Yeah, Daniel Henney, that's his name. Daniel Henney crossed over, but he's pretty much US, and he was a model. So he walked the runways prior to being an actor in Korea and now an actor in Hollywood and Korea. Daniel Henney, very attractive guy. I actually recommend Squid Game. Squid Games actually kind of reminds me of this Money Heist. They have the same kind of dark, disturbed, violent genre going on. Hmm, what happened there? Yeah, Ride or Die. I haven't heard of that one. Is that a movie or it? I don't know. Oh, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Most of my content is Korean drama related. Okay. Yeah, some of my friends in Korea, the younger generations, it's much more fluid. Um, and it's almost like it's not even like you have to be accepted or not accepted. It's just kind of part of life. But then on the other hand, it's also very, very conservative as well. So there's like a little bit of juxtaposition. But one of my friends, she is from the United States, went to Korea and was living there. And a lot of people, for some reason, thought she was a lesbian, but she's not. Now she's engaged to her high school crush. But, anyways, when she was in Korea, she got hit on by a lot of women. I'm not sure why. She's very tall. Maybe that's why. Well, that's an awkward kiss. Huh. So the high school student from the US Embassy parent, she just grabbed the gun from someone. Oh, Japanese. I used to fly to Japan a lot, and I remember watching Japanese um, TV shows because I was in Japan. Those were cute. They were really cute. Yeah, I don't know what that means. She didn't take off the safety. Oh, thank you for the likes. Wow, those are some. I being in Korea the last time, they had a really good. All the cafes that I went to had amazing waffles. I really loved Korean waffles. They're almost like chewy. They would always have like a nice thing of ice cream. Like I would go in, get coffee, have the waffle as a meal. It was delicious. I haven't watched Senior Year. I'm not sure what that one is. I've been watching Money Heist, Alchemy of Souls with Lee Jae-wook, I think. I think that's his name. He was in like WWW Search and he was in So So Dola So 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 or whatever. I just completely powered through Eve with Soyeji. That one was actually pretty good. What else have I been watching? Oh, Jinxed at First Sight is very cute. That one is cute. I would recommend that one if you like funny, cute dramas without any kind of like dark part to it. Money Heist is dark. Like it's just like very money graspy, conniving people, which I feel like Squid Games was as well. I mean, there were some people who had some redeeming factors to them, but yeah, it's been a while. Actually, I think Taylor, you were watching, you were on my live feeds when I was watching Squid Games, whenever that was, like many months ago. I think that was autumn 2021. Time moves so fast. It's crazy. This drama, Money Heist, it's a lot of people just screaming at each other. Bye. Thank you. Thanks so much. I don't know. Wow, that's quite the little fortress they built. So the guy who is masterminding, the professor who is masterminding this money heist, he was in the original Old Boy movie, and he had like a weird thing with backstory, and that's why the whole Old Boy movie happened. And he was so messed up that he was able to do this over like years and years, a couple of decades. So he waited for the detective police officer's daughter to grow up. Yeah, he was really messed up in the brain. But I think, yeah, Korean dramas, Korean movies, or actually Korean movies are a little bit weird. But like the movie Parasite did super well at the Oscars a couple of years ago. I think that's the director of Old Boy. I could be wrong. Tell me if it's a different guy, but I think that's the same guy. That's huge recognition. Like he got like two different Oscars and he was like having them kiss on stage. It was very cute. I guess he's creative. That's why he could do some like things that are funny right off the cuff. So the professor and the female negotiator, they actually know each other in real life, but she doesn't know that this guy is masterminding the money heist. She's going to his cafe slash restaurant where she has a flirtation with him, but yeah, it's not good. So this part of the drama in Money Heist episode 2 is where they're all kind of gathered around the table and, having to discuss next steps. I guess they need to do that when it comes to like negotiations. And where did they get all the red outfits? So the professor must have known that at some point the escape with the money wasn't going to work. So that's why they're having everybody dress up the same. Um, but yeah. Excuse me. So this lead guy, he, I don't know. This money heist for me is not as good as Squid Games. If I had to choose between Squid Games and Money Heist South Korea, I would definitely pick Squid Games. Squid Games was like on the edge of your seat every episode, at least a few times. This one it gets dramatic, but they're all kind of it just like there's not enough intrigue and complicated storyline. It's basically just two opposing forces, and although Squid Games and Money Heist, they're it's about money and greed. So I guess they have that similarity in common. I don't know if I can, like, where am I? So this a little more than halfway through episode 2, but it's kind of boring for a violent thriller. I know that they're trying to pick it up with so I don't know. He's the guy just said I'm getting bored in here. Well, the audience is also a little bit bored too because like right now you see people sitting around computers, the money is there, they've got a whole bunch of people standing around. This drama is not as good as Squid Games. That's my own personal opinion. Now they're in 28 hours of the heist. Yeah, the audience. Me, the audience. I am just not that into this. People are falling asleep in this K drama because there's nothing going on in the K drama. It's just at a standstill. And we're watching them be bored. Like this drama is a little bit, a lot of yelling, discontent, whining. Like they're now just whining. This is not that interesting. That's actually a pretty nice bathroom. Yeah, I don't know if I can watch the rest of this episode. It's just not that interesting. Well, as soon as I say this, something might pick up, but currently everything is a little, wow. So he wants him to use the restroom with the door open because he's being suspicious. And he has he's got in his hand, it is awkward to go to the bathroom in a jumpsuit thing. Wow, that scene was really awkward. So the one thing that I do remember now that she's outside and walking around, when we went up to the JSA area, so one of my friends and I, we went, like, it was a bigger group. We all went to the 38th parallel, and you got to see like the tunnels, and you got to see like um the tunnel is where the North Koreans dug into South Korea. Like, it's crazy. It's kind of creepy and scary. So then you ride this look like little cart down into this tunnel that the North Koreans dug up. I mean, it's pretty significant. Like, it's like a little train thing. Then you walk around. I'm claustrophobic, so I couldn't stay down there that long because, like, I'm not even that big, but I felt very uh, trapped in there. And so you walk a little bit, and it's pretty significant, and you go down into the earth a pretty significant ways in. You're walking around, it's very damp and murky, and so I just looked around a little bit, and then I like walked pretty quickly out of it. So that's one, and then they've got like a museum. Yeah, it was very just not comfortable, especially if you are claustrophobic. And then but then they did discuss in the bus ride into the 38th parallel, the surrounding area is almost like a natural reserve protected in wildlife. It's farming, but because it's the 38th parallel between North and South Korea, it's protected lands. So there's a lot of flowers, vegetation, and now animals, like a lot of birds that you don't see anywhere else, but are there because it's protected lands. Like, there's no modern civilization development. There's like not a lot of there's no apartment housing. I think there's just like little plots of land that the farmers have a very huge tax break because who would want to live right next to North Korea, especially every once in a while they like, they do military exercises. But yeah, so we went up to the 38th parallel, and it was interesting. But then my one friend and I, we actually went into the joint security area, which is where the little blue houses are. And on one side, you're in South Korea, and if you step over the line, you're in North Korea. And we did see some North Korean soldiers. So what's interesting is that South Korea and North Korea put their biggest, most athletic soldiers in the joint security areas because they don't want their little guys to be face to face. So, like, they're all like pretty big. And the ones that we saw and talked to, they're actually Korean Americans. Like, they either are from the US and for whatever reasons they joined the military. They got sent to South Korea for joint missions or joint military efforts, or they're just Koreans who are like, they went to college in the US and then they got sent back to that area because they have 2 years of mandatory service. And yeah, so everyone there spoke English, and all the military personnel, they were tall because they don't send their little guys to face off with each other, because the bigger they are, the more like healthy, more financially wealthy they are. Because if you're small, it just means that you weren't fed properly. And so in North Korea, you don't show that you're the weaker less fed, hungry person. So yeah, the guys were big. You know what else was kind of interesting? They they were telling me that when they were marching, oh, thank you so much. When they were marching, the South Koreans were marching, they put little ball bearings in their pants so that way when they marched, it sounds like, oh, thank you so much. It sounds like they were many, many more people marching, which is crazy. Oh, well, thank you so much. Um, you're so funny, Taylor. I was wondering what you're saying. I thought you meant, am I ready to watch this K-drama? Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But thank you so much. But yeah, oh, that's that's good. Thank you so much. Um, but yeah, that's what I noticed for South Korea and North Korea. And I still have kind of a heart for North Korea for whatever reasons. I actually saw a North Korean person who, oh, thank you. That's a lot of likes or roses. Thank you so much. Um, but yeah, I was at dinner at a Korean restaurant. Thank you. What is this for? Um, so I went to a Korean restaurant and I guess there was a smaller guy and he was being very boisterous, very like exuberant. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And he was very loud, very tiny. Thank you so much. Very, very tiny. And then I saw one of my friends who I had gone to a lot of um, faith-based stuff. And she was there and she had said that Link, which is Liberty in North Korea, they had just done a gala and the smaller guy, he was being recognized because he was a North Korean refugee. And that's got to be mind-boggling because when I was in North Korea, there were no stores. They said that North Koreans who come to the United States, they're overwhelmed by our stores. Like they're overwhelmed, not even by Costco. They're overwhelmed by like even smaller stores because of all the food, which is interesting. Oh, no, thank you. Thank you so much, Taylor. And one thing that I remember that just popped into my brain about how this guy in this North Korean refugee, when I was in North Korea, we went to an aquarium. It was it was really bizarre. So we went to an aquarium and that, if it's their aquarium, more power to them. That's, their thing. Don't want to like poo-poo it, but it looked like we actually were at like a pet store. It was very equivalent. Thank you so much. It was very much like an equivalent to a pet store because like there you go to San Diego Zoo or you go to San Diego SeaWorld and you will see an aquarium like seals and whales. I mean, although that's kind of like it's not very humane or kind to animals, but over like this aquarium that we went to in North Korea, it was like they had like a couple of little aquariums, but then we were looking at refrigerated or frozen fish. I felt like we were in like somebody's house, not even a house. It was like a couple of rooms. They showed us like some areas and we saw some little dead fish. Okay, so now that brought back another memory. I also went to a museum and the museum was pretty much like if you ask all your friends to paint pictures, and that's what it looked like. Like whenever I say, "Oh, I could cook that," or I could paint that," like I'm pretty sure I could have done the artwork. And not to say that nothing bad to say about that, but that's really what it looked like. It was not like any art museum I've ever seen. in LA, New York, in different galleries. It was like, oh wow, this is like some pretty much homemade stuff. The one interesting thing that we did get to go to was a flower store or flower shop or a botanist. I don't even know what it's called. But they had two special plants. One was the Kim Il Sung plant, which is the father figure, the guy who died like 100, no, 60 years ago. I don't know. He was born 100 years ago. He's the guy who led North Korea with China and Russia backing him. Anyways, there was a flower named after him, and then there was another flower named after Kim Il. So it's Kim Il Sung, and then Kim Jong Il, and then Kim Jong Un. So the middle guy, the more roundish guy who was really into movies. I guess I'm really into movies too. So, anyways, there was a flower named after him too. I think they were orchids. I don't remember. I think I'm pretty sure I have a picture of it. I took pictures all over. What's interesting about pictures in North Korea is that you have to take the entire picture of all the words in a North Korean poster. It has to say all of it. You cannot cut off any of the whatever the signage is. It has to be the entire sign. And also the building has to be the entire building. You cannot cut off the building top or cut off parts of the building. It has to be the building in its entirety. And your minders or your guides, they will flip through your digital camera to make sure that you take a whole picture of it. And the other part that was really kind of disturbing and dark about being a tourist in North Korea is that you can't, like, most things that you do, you're fine. Like, they understand that we're from the US, but like, if anyone were to leave behind any kind of faith-based material, like, never ever leave behind the Bible, you likely will go to jail. And not even just a regular jail, like a concentration camp type thing. No Bibles, no materials for faith, no little SD cards or whatever, those little devices. No, nothing like that. No CDs, nothing. Like, the person, and this was in the news, so the person that brought our group into North Korea, he is a lead pastor of a megachurch in Canada. And, he's very well connected and has been supporting North Korea for many, 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 many years. And he was captured by the North Koreans for propaganda and work against the North Koreans. This is in the news, so I'm not stating anything that's private information. Thankfully, he was released. And then, and this is nothing that I'm associated with, but there was the younger Caucasian gentleman who was in, I think, Pyongyang. And I think he, for whatever reasons, tried to take a flag or some artwork off of the wall at a hotel. I mean, that's just rude if you do that in like a regular hotel in the US or anywhere. Like, you just don't take property that's not yours, let alone North Korea, which is under a very strict regime, a dictatorship. And so he was taken, and like, after many months of being in prison, I'm sure tortured, they were able to negotiate the release. But by that time, he was brain damaged, and he came back to pass with his family. Very sad. Oh, my hair, it's purple. I don't know. I guess if you think it's wrong. But Taylor thinks it's cute. She says she likes purple. I like purple too, otherwise I wouldn't have done it. And that's a little bit rude there, Caper. I don't know if going online and saying rude remarks is something that people, it's not very proper But what else was I saying? Oh yeah, Jimmy Carter, one of my favorite politicians. He went to North Korea to negotiate the release of captured individuals. And then so did Bill Clinton. You know the weirdest person who went to North Korea? Uh, Dennis Rodman. Crazy. Like, he's already kind of nuts in the United States. Like, Dennis Rodman, bless his heart, because, like, he was an outstanding NBA basketball player. But my goodness, he went to North Korea on like, he wasn't on the behalf of any kind of delegation. But wow, like they accepted him. He brought in books from Trump, which is interesting. So yeah, he was able to bring in books kind of ghost written for Donald Trump. Like he didn't actually write them. Like some author came out and said that he wrote the books. They just were able to relabel it with Trump's kind of persona on top of it, which is great marketing for them. The books probably wouldn't have been a bestseller with just the regular author's name. I still don't even know it because he doesn't have the notoriety as Trump does. So yeah. The most impressive thing about North Korea is its natural resources. It's basically untouched. It has one of the deepest ports near China and Russia. And like, it's basically if China or Russia could take that over, they would have a very good entry, kind of like Singapore. Like for some reason, Singapore does really well because it's a port city. That area would be like they would make so much money, but there's no infrastructure. There is no public transportation. There's no electricity. There is no sanitation, no plumbing. They would have to build everything from ground zero. But it is a very naturally resourced country. Like it overshadows South Korea. South Korea has technology, but it's overrun with pollution. North Korea is pretty much untouched anywhere because there's no development there. There's really like zero wealth. The only wealth there is political and military. And it's sad. It's a dark place. There's no freedom. It's very quaint. Like the people there are like South Koreans, very passionate, but there's a dark energy. It's super dark and it's sad. Money Heist episode 2. I still don't really understand what's going on. They're all trapped together in this giant money reserve. They're trying to dig themselves out. I don't know. This drama is not so good. Now why are they hugging each other? They're on opposite sides. That's weird. Ugh, I think I just talked through episode 2 of Money Heist. So, final thoughts on Money Heist. I gotta say, it's trying quite a bit in terms of what it's wanting to accomplish, which Reservoir Dogs, Squid Games, they're trying to do a lot of different things in terms of having a ensemble cast be cool. Um, but it's it's reaching. I don't really get it. Like there's some like flirtations going on. There's a mastermind. It's a little bit like Reservoir Dogs because like I think at the end like Reservoir Dogs is just like a complete like a poop show at the end. Like it's like everybody's just not gonna have a happy ever after. The thing about Squid Games, like the guy Lee Jung Jae, the lead character, he did do well at the end, but he never used the money. He used the money towards, I think, the care of a child of someone who went through Squid Games. I think he went back, and the people that was able to befriend in Squid Games, he used some of the money towards that, and I think he used some of the money towards his own kid. But for the most part, it was not good. That's what I think. That is what I think. And now they're showing a preview of episode 3. They're showing kind of the backstory of why some of these people are wanting to do the money heist. But overall, like, this is white collar, blue collar crime. It's complete theft. Like, it's just weird. Like, the amount of effort that some individuals do, like, not just in dramas, but in real life, it's just like, why not just get a real job? You know what I think? What I think is like terrible as just weird. Like you go in, people are working, and you see this all the time on TikTok. I'm just gonna get on my little soapbox. You see this all the time on TikTok. Like people are doing, their customer service job. They're having to work with the general public, and like some jerk walks in, is just obnoxious, like crass towards the workers that are at this company making a living, doing an honest day's work, or they're just working. Maybe they're not putting that much effort into it, but they're still working. They're like, they've got a job. They're clocking in, clocking out, and then like some customers coming in and just being a jerk. Like that's next level effort of just petty, weird, like I don't understand. It's like if somebody's doing a job and like that's like why not if they're doing a terrible job, just leave. Like there's no reason to like throw a tantrum. And I wish like we didn't see that as much. And the TikTok, like some of the feeds like with all the Karens and chat like Karens and Chads, like it's unreal, but there's billions of users on TikTok and now everyone is filming everything. So yeah, I'm gonna turn this off now. I think this is now episode 3, and I just want to stop watching the show. Yeah, I'm done watching Money Heist. Yeah, the Chads. Is your name Chad? Yeah, lots of Chads, Karens, who knows, but I think I'm gonna wrap up this episode of Money Heist episode 2. For the most part, I would recommend this for individuals who like kind of more exciting, semi-violent dramas. It is reminiscent of Squid Games. It's also a little bit reminiscent of Reservoir Dogs, but overall, I would give it a 2 out of 5 stars. I know that's very low because like the lowest I normally give is 3. But I think it might be worthwhile for some individuals to watch depending on if this is your genre. So yeah, but thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And shout out to Taylor for all the roses. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.